In this video, we're continuing with part 3, and I want to start off by getting to the point of when we build these terraform places or in the desert, build agricultural centers, we're going to use non-modified seeds. We're going to go back to seeding plants and collect the seeds after each season, and this way we have a higher nutrient count. You could pretty much eat, and it varies. I'll give you both counts. You could eat two to three corn a cob, depending on who you talk to, what scientific discovery. And that would only equal eating one corn a cob of non-modified. See, when you modify plants and make them grow bigger or grow in harsher climates and make them change the dynamics of the seed, especially wheat, you lose the wheat germ and the carbohydrates that are in it that are healthy. And same with corn, same with lettuce, same with everything. You're giving up something to get something. So you're giving up the nutritional value of the plant by modifying its core DNA. That's got to stop, because you can eat and eat and eat. That's why you feel hungry, because you're not getting the nutrients from it. So anyway, in this one we're going to jump right into the S.M.S.R power plant. Now, let me see if I get it up here. My wrist is busted really bad. I can't see, but you can see it's broke. So the point I'm getting at is the blueprints that I have for this are too small and can't be seen on the screen, so I did the best I could with my hand being busted and using the left as for a little bit to give you a basic diagram of the S.M.S.R power plant. And we're going to go through how it operates and what its functions for. And to start off, the function is for negating the electromechanical loss differentials of using a motor to turn a generator to gain power, because you lose it in transitions. It's taking too much power to run these motors at 1800 RPMs, burning up bearings, and mechanical losses is staggering. But with this system, we're running to a salient rotor generator with an ABM. And basically what that means is, as more pull on that source comes, the ABM boosts the field so you get more magnetic gain. It's real simple. Don't get overbogged by this. It's going to be real simple. So I don't know how you'll see it, but it all starts with a servo motor. And why we're using a servo motor is because it could be controlled by pulse width modulation. And real simple is, as it more power, say starting it up, is needed, it uses the full pulse or waveform, and as it gets going faster and faster, it reduces, so you have less electrical need for more electrical gain. You can get down to running to almost nothing on the pulse wave. Say it's this big, the size of the screen. It'll start off here spinning it, but once it gets, as it's getting going, it's going to reduce, and reduce it to almost just keeping it going. So this is where we have less energy needed to spin a salient rotor, which doesn't have magnets and all that. It's real light and made of plastics, but that's a whole nother thing. It gets into the schematics, statistics and dynamics of it. But anyway, so we have a servo motor spinning a salient rotor motor with an ABM, which controls the output depending on the demand. Now there's linear amplifiers and things that sense what it's needing and attaches to the ABM, but we're not going to go there right now. We're just getting the basic idea. This is a three-phase, which means that there's three phases in this motor, where some motors only make two. But anyway, just remember, it's a three-phase salient rotor motor generator. which is tied to an ABM. And on the same shaft, we have another salient rotor motor generator controlled by an ABM. And again, there's linear amplifiers to see the needs that goes to a transformer, which reduces the 482 phase to a 12 to 24 volts with high amperage to a 12 and negative 12 regulator, which are these great big industrial rectifiers, which you don't need to bother with, that goes up and feeds the servo motor. Now there's a servo drive that goes in there, but for simplicity, we're just doing it as one group. And at this point here, where the transformer and this regulator comes in, you can hook solar panels, you can hook up wind generators, but the ideology here is that this thing's going to run itself. Okay, we're going to put capacitor banks or batteries in there to level out the flow of the 12 and negative 12 volts. But the basic idea is one servo motor spins two salient rotors, one massive one, which is probably the size of a 5-story building. I know you think it's big, but it's not. And the idea with the salient motor, all right, like I touched on before, regular generators spin at 1800 RPM, and it's a whole thing to get 60 cycles out, and it breaks down depending on the configuration. Usually it's 2 fields and 4. I don't want to get too far into this, but the idea of the salient rotor is to have 1 RPM. By the configuration of the alternator's rotor and the coils, you get 1 revolution. That's a second. 1 revolution a second, so 60 in a minute, you know. And what we're doing here is we're reducing the amount of spin, which reduces the energy needed. And then with the servo motors, it controls and cuts down on the power usage. So we're getting a hell of a lot of electromechanical gain out of this. And this is the way of the future. This could be done right now. And you could technically retrofit every existing power plant instead of using coal, burning a boiler, and yada, yada, yada. You could either take the boiler that's spinning a turbine that's gaining power and use the power that the boiler's using to supply the servo motor. But we don't want to do that. I mean, that's just a temporary fix to try and stop the amount of energy needed, which is reduced by the less amount of rotations per second. And this also applies to, say, locomotives, trucks, the ones that pull the trailers, the semi-tractor trailer trucks, and cars. And what can be done with this? As you know, you have the capacitor bank. What we're going to do, instead of using an electric motor that has magnets that are super heavy, we're going to put a servo motor in there, and then we're going to hook that to a salient rotor alternator or generator with an ABM. So as you're taking off, you'll use more, the pulse width will increase, and as you get going, it'll reduce to nothing where you get the great gain. And how they're building cars now, they're having heavy on batteries. Capacitors can use to hold a charge, and you could also have just a regular car battery to get it going. But the lightweight capacitor bank is the way to go. And now you go, well, where's it get the power? Well, on the rear tires, what you do is as they're being pulled along, you hook them to a shaft that each tire spins a salient rotor generator with an ABM. that supplies the capacitor bank that supplies the servo motor. Same with the tractor trailer. You put the same thing in there as the wheels turn. They're spinning salient rotor generators that are filtering and feeding the servo motor to spin the initial AVM. This is the wave of the future. I mean, we're talking about systems that require no gas, no diesel, nothing. I want you to think about that for a minute. You go, well, why hasn't it been done yet? Well, the reason is because this probably already exists somewhere and has been bought up by oil companies. They want to push their gas to the day gas goes out. But I'm here to tell you, this is time for a new world. I don't know. I've been trying to get a hold of Never Again and MSD to try and get them on the track for part one, where we're going from the mentality point of view. I know I'm jumping subjects, but that's pretty much as far as I can explain it without giving an actual class. I also like to touch out too. I saw something red to red or something like that for the teachers, and I'd like to say that with the new system, 9-hour days, and I'll correct the time, it's 7 to 5. That's 10 hours. The extra hour I was debating on was a 2-hour lunch to break up the day. So actually 7 to 6 is 11 hours. 2-hour lunch, 9-hour class, 45 minutes per 9 classes, 15 minutes in between. Seems to be a good ticket. And what I'm getting at is teachers are paid on the pretense that they're working 8 to maybe 9 months because there's summer and you're off. So they're not going to pay you a 12-month wage when you're only working 8 months. With my plan, you're working an extra hour a day, which gains time over the summer, and then you check on and overview how the students are doing with their online modules over the summer. So you're working, as far as time goes, the whole year. But like in summer, you're just reviewing stuff that has flags pop up. Someone's flunking. If there's a detected second voice pattern, or you notice someone's coaching, those videos will be flagged and you overlook them. But the idea here is to get your hours up to the same amount as a 40-hour a week, 12 months a year. And that's where I just want to make it clear that legislation is coming from. We're only paying you for 8 months. That's it. You only work 8 months. My way, you're working the whole year, technically, by 9-hour days, 5 days a week, and then on a weekend checking over the flag videos. These modules are gonna face recognize and catch you trying to look to the side or listen for another voice pattern and go, well, that sounds too... No, it's not. It's really simple. I mean, if you knew the technology that the government and any security system uses, that's the simplest thing since sliced bread. And I wish someone would help. I'm trying to track down those books we used to have for reading comprehension. I remember 76 Trombones was one of the one I read. And you have these books, and we may have to make it over a summer. It may take the next summer to perfect it. But the idea is you have EM blockers in the school. Kids can't use their phones. You don't need to use a phone while you're in school. If there's an emergency, parents can call the landline at the office to come get you. There's no more cell phones in school. This is ridiculous. This is how this whole social blitzing and this craziness happens, and I think it's time that's next altogether. But again, for all you teachers, I'm going to look it back up. I saw it on Vice News. It's red to red or red for red, and they want higher wages. Well, this is the way you get your higher wages. So not only is your involvement crucial, It's necessary for your pay. If you join the cause and get us on the right track, you'll get your pay. And I'm going to tell you, if anybody says we don't have the money for that, where in the hell's the lottery money going? Every state has a lottery, okay? And you burn this in your head. Where the hell's the lottery money going? Because that's supposed to be for schools, not for you to build whatever, whatnot, and give contracts that are over expenditure due to capitalistic treason. No, that money is exclusively for school education. And we need to fix that right quick because these states are raping us. You're cutting education, cutting classes, cutting phys ed. We're getting sicker and sicker. The demand on the medical system's going up, up, up. So the price is going up, up, up. It's just a whole circle. But the basic line is, ask them, where is the lottery money? That is supposed to be for our schools and our pay and our books and everything. And what you need to do is file a class action suit in every state to sue for back monies due from lottery pilfering. And you need to put these congressmen, these state senators, the governor, all these people, you sue them. Where the hell's our money? We're supposed to have it for education. That was all that was made for in the beginning is education. We need to restore that. I want to know where hashtag where's the lottery money? Where is it? If you don't figure that out, we're never going to get anywhere with teachers' pay being proper. I mean, you have associates and master's people making, well, I heard the worst was like 24,000 in Wisconsin or something. I mean, that's poverty. Where's the lottery money, man? You guys shouldn't be starving and dying out there as teachers, struggling paycheck to paycheck. This is ridiculous. And with the education reform, you don't have to worry about homework and checking the homework. There's constantly going to be modules online students can look at and take, math, whatever you're interested in. We're going to have a wide variety. So after your school work is done and you get your test on Friday, you can take modules if you want to accelerate yourself. And people, when they complete, say, I don't know because the system's not set up yet, but if you jump up 3-4 grades, instead of the 2 free years at college, you're given 4. And then maybe 2 at a community college. If you ace it, then we pay for your first 2 of regular college going into your field. I know most fields go 4, 6, 8 years, but if you have your associates and you have 2 years granted, you could student work or do something with the community. You can even help check modules and check students' work when there's flags and stuff. There's a lot to be done. I could go on and on and on about it, but I don't want to overload anybody on one given time. Again, as I end this, we now have 3 new power technologies. The hydroelectrolysis, where you burn oxygen and hydrogen, or you create oxygen and hydrogen, then you burn it as a fuel to spin turbines, which spin Salient rotor motors. Then you have the Venetian power plant, which I changed the name to the thermodynamic power plant. Venetian was cool in the first place so people could get an idea where it's coming from, but since we're not using hydrochloric acid, then we don't need it. We could. You could make a hell of a furnace. We're talking thousands of degrees, but I think that's overkill. If something ever happened, dome got damaged, there'd be gas, hydrochloric acid everywhere, and it's just a hazard. We can get away with methane. And then, like I said, the S.M.S.R power plants. And here now, I want to declare beyond a shadow of a doubt, we need to get away from every modified seed that's out there and throw them into the ocean. Let the fish eat them. We want seeds that regrow seeds, that we don't never have to worry about going into existence. because that's where they're going with it. Starve us to death. I want to end starvation. I want to end people being thirsty. And I believe that's a human right. As a human being, that should be in our Bill of Rights. You know, everything else is ridiculous. Education, being able to eat, being able to have a job, being able to drink water when you want to. Those four things should be written into the Constitution as basic human rights. And I really can't understand how it's not. We have people in America starving and dying of thirst. They take showers in California out of buckets for 4 or 5 days before, maybe 2, 3 weeks before they get water, because they're too busy making almonds and this palm stuff from that guy stealing all the water in California, which should be another lawsuit. I could go on and on with what the problems are and how to fix them, but I'm basically focusing on the core group right now. They will eventually expand, and capitalistic treason is a big problem. This is where the school money got taken away on the state level to be able to do projects for contractors that gave donations so they could pay them and make bazillions. So he gives $1 million campaign fund. He gives them a program, a contract for, say, rebuilding a highway. He makes billions. I mean, it's just sad. We need to really wake up here and start doing something. I don't know how much longer I have. I've had over 30 surgeries in the past 12 years, and my hand and my back are totally shot pending surgery, so I may not be here very long. And I feel sorry for you if you don't start doing something, because it'll be out of my control then. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. And I really only want the best for we the people of not only the United States, but of the world. Ethiopia is just dying. And this technology could turn them around to a major contributor, a first world nation in 15 years. Once they have water and they got food, the rest is just installing capitalistic free democracy. I mean, this is really sad what these people are doing to all of us, and it breaks my heart every day. I feel the pain, I feel the suffering, I see everybody striving to just survive. It's awful, and I even see it in our children's eyes. How hurt and how desperate they are for having some kind of something to be in their life to give them purpose. That's what we need as a human being, is purpose. We all need to be loved. It's just sad how we've gotten to this point. God bless. I hope I helped you somewhat. And if you have anything to say, please do not hesitate to hit Gerald Calloway at yahoo.com. I will read it and I will respond. That's GeraldCalloway at yahoo.com. God bless. God bless our children. And I pray to God we have a better future than the one I'm staring at. Goodbye.